Ladies and gentlemen, I know you're tired. I know you're worn out from pretending to be okay when your heart is breaking in silence. You're smiling on the outside, but inside you're barely holding it together. You feel unseen, unheard, like nobody really understands the weight you're carrying. Maybe you're questioning your worth, wondering why life keeps knocking you down when all you've ever tried to do is stand tall. But I want you to know something. You're not alone. There is still a fire in you, even if today it only feels like a spark. And that spark, that's all you need. You might be broken right now, but broken crayons still color. Your soul is still valuable. You are still worthy of love, peace, purpose, even if the world has made you feel otherwise. This is your moment not to give up, but to rise, because the ones who rise when everything around them is falling apart, they are unstoppable. So sit with me, breathe with me, and listen, because what you're about to hear isn't just motivation. It's your reminder that you are stronger than you think, and your story isn't over yet. Pain has a strange way of convincing us that it's going to last forever. It creeps in during the silent hours, when no one's watching, and whispers in your ear that this is your new reality. It tells you that the ache in your chest, the weight on your shoulders, the emptiness you feel, it's never going to leave. But let me tell you something. Pain is a liar. Pain is a visitor. It shows up uninvited, stays longer than it should. But it does not have the power to define you unless you hand it the pen. You see, your spirit was not built to break under pressure. It was built to rise through it. You're not here by accident. Pain is temporary, but your strength is forever. The pain you're feeling has an expiration date, but your strength, that power inside you, even when you feel weak, that's eternal. That's not going anywhere. Don't let a temporary season of suffering make you forget the warrior that lives inside of you. You've made it through days you didn't think you would. That's not weakness. That's strength clothed in silence. You might not see it yet, but I promise it's there. Pain doesn't care about your plans. It doesn't ask for permission. It crashes through your life and takes things from you that you thought you couldn't live without. A loved one, a dream, your peace of mind. And sometimes it's not loud. It's quiet. It's sitting in your room and feeling empty even when the world is moving outside your window. But I want you to listen closely right now. Even when you're broken, you're still becoming. Even when you're shaking, your soul is steady. Even when the tears fall, they're watering the ground for your future. You're allowed to hurt, you're allowed to cry, you're allowed to scream, but don't you dare give up. You've come too far, survived too much, fought too hard to stop now. This pain is teaching you something only the brave are trusted with. It's building endurance. It's shaping character. It's preparing you for something you cannot see yet. I know it's heavy, but I also know what you carry inside of you is heavier than what's pressing on you. You're stronger than this moment. You're stronger than this storm. There's a reason why diamonds are formed under pressure. There's a reason why gold is refined by fire. You can't access your greatest strength without walking through something difficult. And I know that doesn't make the pain easier. I know it still hurts. But when everything inside you is telling you to quit, that's when you dig the deepest. That's when you find out what you're really made of. And let me tell you something. You are not fragile. You are not fragile. Life may bend you, but it cannot break what is built by faith and fight. You may feel like you're in the dark right now, but even seeds need darkness before they break open and rise. That pain is not punishment, it's preparation. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be strong every second. You just have to keep showing up, keep breathing, keep choosing to get up even if you're still limping. Because with every breath you take in pain, your strength is whispering, I'm still here. You haven't lost me. You've been through things you never talk about, fought battles in silence, carried burdens no one saw, and still here you are, listening, trying, breathing. That's not weakness. That's proof of your strength. You could have become bitter, but you're trying to heal. You could have shut down, but you're reaching out. That takes courage. That takes grit. Pain didn't break you. It woke you up. It showed you how precious peace is. It taught you to recognize the difference between people who love you and people who use you. It forced you to grow in silence when no one was clapping, when no one was watching. You've become a quiet storm, calm on the outside, power on the inside. And yes, the nights feel long. Yes, the weight is heavy, but your soul is heavy. Your soul is rooted in something. Pain, that kind of strength, that's not given, that's earned. You might look at your life right now and feel like everything's falling apart. Relationships ending, doors closing, opportunities missed. Maybe you even feel like you've lost a part of yourself along the way, but listen to me. Nothing you're losing is more important than what you're gaining. The pain is making room for growth. The loss is clearing the way for better. You're not being destroyed, you're being redefined. Your strength is being carved from the deepest part of you. The strongest people you've ever met, they didn't get there from a perfect life. They got there from pain, from failure, from loss. But they didn't let it stop them, and you won't either. You're not stuck. You're just being slowed down, so you don't miss what's coming. What you feel now is temporary. What you're becoming, that's permanent. That's legacy. That's power. Don't judge your future by this one painful chapter. You haven't even seen the climax of your story yet. I know the voices in your head are loud. I know they're telling you you're not enough, that you'll never make it, that you're too broken, too late, too far gone. But those voices are lies. You are enough. You are not too late. You are not too far gone. There's no amount of pain that can erase the purpose inside of you. And I don't care what mistakes you've made, what darkness you've walked through, what people have said, you are still worthy. Worthy of healing, worthy of joy, worthy of peace. Don't let a hard season convince you that you have a hard life. This is a season, not a sentence. Don't give up 5 minutes before your breakthrough. You might not see it yet, but something is shifting inside you. The strength you're building in this low moment will become your foundation for life. The people who left, the plans that failed, they weren't meant to hold you forever. But your strength, that stays. That endures. Sometimes the healing hurts more than the wound because now you're aware. Now you're feeling things you used to run from. And it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. You can't heal what you don't feel. You can't grow without discomfort, so don't numb the pain, face it. Don't run, stand still. Feel it, cry if you have to, but don't you ever mistake your vulnerability for weakness. The ability to feel this deeply, to survive this honestly, that's where your strength lives. You are not weak for struggling. You are not weak for breaking down. You are human, and healing is messy, but don't let the mess distract you from the miracle that's taking place. You're being rebuilt, stronger, wiser, more grounded. There's beauty in the ashes, and one day when you look back, you'll realize the pain didn't destroy you. It revealed you. It made you more real, more compassionate, more powerful than ever before. You've got to start seeing yourself the way your strength sees you, not as a victim, but as a victor. Not as someone falling apart, but someone coming together in a new way. There is strength being built in you that can't be faked. It's not pretty. It's not polished, it's raw, it's honest, and it's real. You're going through something now that will one day become your testimony. The very pain you're ashamed of today will be a story that saves someone else tomorrow. That's how powerful your strength is. It's not just for you, it's for others too. So keep walking, even if it's slow. Keep breathing, even if it's shallow. Keep showing up, even when it hurts. Because every moment you choose not to quit, you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You're building something eternal. The storm will pass, the pain will fade, but the strength, that's yours forever. That's the legacy you're writing right now. Even in the darkness, no one can see what's happening inside of you, but I promise you the transformation is real. You might feel like nothing's changing, like you're stuck in the same pain, but inside, something is shifting. Every time you choose not to give up, that shift gets stronger. Your roots are growing deeper. Your spirit is stretching wider. And one day you're going to look back on this season, not with bitterness, but with gratitude. Because this pain gave birth to a version of you that didn't exist before. A version that is unshakable, unbreakable, undeniable. You don't have to be fearless to be strong. You just have to keep going, one step at a time, one breath at a time. The storm is loud, but your strength is louder. You may not feel it now, but it's in you. It's always been in you. And no matter what happens next, no matter how long the night feels, you're not done yet. Your strength is forever. You've been trying so hard to hold it all together, trying to smile when you want to scream, trying to be strong when all you feel is tired. Somewhere along the way, you started believing that if you weren't perfect, you weren't enough. That if you didn't always have the answers, always show up strong, always look unbothered, then maybe you were failing. But let me tell you something real. Your power has never come from perfection. Your power comes from your presence, from the fact that you keep showing up even when the pieces aren't all in place. That messy, broken, cracked version of you, that's where your power lives. Because real strength isn't spotless, it's scarred. It's been through something. It's still standing because it chose to keep walking through fire when it could have laid down. Your flaws don't make you weak, they make you relatable. They make you real, they make you powerful in a way that no polished image ever could. People don't need your perfection, they need your truth. And sometimes your truth is, I'm struggling, but I'm still here. And that's more than enough. The world will try to sell you this lie that you have to earn your worth, that you have to be perfect to be loved, perfect to be respected, perfect to be seen. But the truth is, perfection is a prison, and you weren't created to live in chains. Every flaw, every insecurity, every scar on your heart is part of the story that makes your power unique. Do you know how many people are waiting for someone like you? Someone who's real, someone who's been through something and still rises anyway? Your power doesn't come from pretending to have it all figured out. It comes from being honest about where you are and still choosing to grow. There's something magnetic about someone who owns their imperfections and still walks with purpose. Because people can feel that. They can feel your authenticity, and your authenticity, that's your weapon. That's your light. Don't waste time polishing yourself for people who won't love you unless you're shiny. The ones who matter, they'll love you through the mess, not in spite of it, but because of it. When you try so hard to be perfect, you end up shrinking. You dim your light to make sure you don't offend anyone. You hold back your voice because you don't want to say the wrong thing. You hide your struggles because you think they disqualify you, but listen, your imperfections are not your limitations. They are your qualifications. They are what connect you to others. Nobody trusts a mask. People connect with wounds. They connect with stories. When you try to be flawless, you disconnect from the very thing that makes you powerful, your humanity. And this world doesn't need another plastic smile. It needs your truth, your broken, healing, hopeful truth. The one that says, yeah, I've fallen, but I get back up. Yeah, I've doubted, but I still choose faith. Yeah, I've cried, but I still show up. That's what power looks like. It's not being untouchable. It's being unashamed. It's not about being above pain. It's about standing in it and refusing to bow. You're not too messy. You're not too late. You're just right for the purpose placed on your life. There's a kind of pressure we carry that nobody sees. The pressure to be everything for everyone. The pressure to hide our pain and power through. The pressure to succeed, to prove ourselves, to never mess up. And slowly, without realizing it, we start believing that our worth is tied to how perfectly we perform. That if we make one mistake, we lose it all. But that's not truth. That's fear dressed up in expectation. Your value is not in what you do, it's in who you are. You were powerful the moment you woke up this morning, not because of what you accomplished, but because of what you've overcome just to be here. Think about that. You faced days that tried to break you, nights you didn't think you'd get through, and here you are, still standing, still breathing, still reaching for something better. That's power, and no amount of failure or imperfection can take that from you. So take off the mask, let go of the need to be perfect. You already are powerful exactly as you are. You see, real power isn't loud, it's not always confident. Sometimes it looks like crying yourself to sleep and still waking up with hope. Sometimes it's saying, I need help, instead of pretending you're fine. That's the kind of power no one teaches you about. The quiet, humble power of resilience. You weren't put on this earth to impress people. You were put here to impact lives. And perfection never changed the world. Authenticity did. Vulnerability did. People don't need you to have it all together. They need to see how you keep going when it's falling apart. They need to see your fight, not just your finish line. You being honest about your imperfections gives others permission to do the same. You being real gives people hope that they can rise too. That's what true leadership looks like. Not control, not perfection, but courage. And the courage to keep walking even when your legs are shaking. That's power. Don't ever forget that. Some of the most powerful people you'll ever meet are the ones who face the most pain. And you wouldn't know it by looking at them because they're not flashy. They're not loud. They've learned to walk with quiet strength. You know why? Because they stopped trying to prove themselves a long time ago. They stopped chasing perfection and started embracing peace. That's where power grows, not in improving, but in being. When you finally realize you don't have to be perfect to be enough, something shifts. You stop performing, you start living. You stop shrinking, not because you're flawless, but because you're free. Free to be honest, free to be real, free to stop living for approval and start living for purpose. And when you walk in that kind of freedom, you become unstoppable because you're no longer afraid of your flaws. You've made peace with your scars, and now you own your story, all of it. And there's nothing more powerful than a person who's no longer ashamed of where they've been. Perfection tells you you have to hide your mess. Power says your mess is your message. Perfection tells you to edit your pain. Power says speak your truth. Perfection whispers you're not ready yet. Power says you've been ready the moment you survive. Stop letting the enemy of perfection keep you from walking in your calling. You don't need a clean past to have a powerful future. You don't need every step to be right. You just need to keep stepping. You're allowed to stumble. You're allowed to fall. But what matters is that you rise. You rise with more compassion. You rise with deeper faith. You rise with deeper faith. You rise with a story only you can tell. Don't despise your process. Don't curse your imperfections. They're teaching you things. Strength alone could never teach you. Grace, empathy, humility, these are the seeds of real power. You're not weak because you cry. You're not broken because you're healing. You're not lost because you're still figuring it out. You're on your way, and every imperfect step is still progress. Never forget that. You don't need to have it all figured out to start moving forward. You don't need to wait until you feel strong to do something bold. Power doesn't show up when you arrive. It grows in the getting there. It grows in the in-between. It grows in the struggle. That's what makes it real. So don't hold back your voice because you're still healing. Don't wait for perfection before you show up for your life. You have something the world needs right now, just as you are. Maybe your voice shakes, maybe your hands tremble, maybe your faith wavers, but you're still moving, you're still trying, and that's enough. That's more than enough. God doesn't need you perfect. He needs you available. He needs you open. He needs you to believe that your brokenness doesn't disqualify you. It positions you. You've been chosen not in spite of your wounds, but through them. And when you finally stop waiting to be perfect, that's when you start stepping into your real, unstoppable power. The world might not see it yet. The people around you might overlook it, but you carry something powerful, something divine. And it has nothing to do with being flawless. It has everything to do with being faithful. Faithful even when it hurts. Faithful even when you feel like a mess. Because power doesn't come from the spotlight. It comes from the shadows, from the times you didn't give up when no one was watching, from the moments you chose to rise, even if no one clapped. That's power. That's legacy. That's the kind of strength you can't fake. And one day people will look at you and think you had it all together. They won't see the nights you cried, the days you doubted, the weight you carried. But you'll know. You'll know your strength wasn't born from being perfect. It was born from not giving up when you were broken. That's the kind of power that lasts, and it's in you right now. Always has been. Sometimes life hits you so hard, you forget who you are. You get knocked down by things you never saw coming. A betrayal, a loss, a failure that shook the ground beneath your feet. And in that moment, in that pit, it's easy to believe the lie that this is where it ends, that this setback is your story now. But let me remind you of something you might have forgotten. A setback is not the end. It's not your final chapter. It's the plot twist. It's the moment the storm comes, not to destroy you, but to shift you, to shake you into alignment. It's not punishment, it's preparation. You weren't buried, you were planted. And just because it's dark right now doesn't mean you've been defeated. It means something deeper is growing. You may not see it yet. You may feel forgotten, but what you call a delay, God calls design. He's not finished with you. This isn't where your story stops. This is where it begins again, stronger. And when you rise, not if, but when, the world's going to feel it, because your comeback isn't just about you. It's about everyone who thought they couldn't rise again either. When everything is falling apart, it's hard to believe it's falling into place. You don't see the full picture when you're stuck in the middle of the pain. You only see broken pieces, shattered dreams, wounded pride, doors that slam shut without warning, and you ask yourself, why now? Why me? But what if I told you those pieces aren't wasted? What if I told you the breaking was making you? The rejection, the heartbreak, the failure, it's chiseling something greater out of you. The comeback doesn't start when everything's fixed. It starts when you decide to rise, even when it still hurts. It starts when you realize that the storm you're in isn't meant to sink you, but to teach you how to sail in deeper waters. Every setback you face carries a seed of strength that you wouldn't have without it, and one day when you look back, you'll see it. You'll see that what tried to break you actually built you, that what was meant to end you awakens something in you. Hunger, focus, fire. You may not feel powerful now, but trust me, your comeback is already in motion. You weren't created to live life without battles. You were created to overcome them. That storm that hit you, that wave that crashed into your soul and tried to drown your purpose, it didn't come to stay. It came to show you how deep your strength goes. Sometimes God allows the storm not to break you, but to reveal the parts of you that were asleep. You thought you were weak until you had to be strong. You thought you couldn't survive until survival was the only option left. You found power you didn't know you had. That's the purpose of the setback. It reveals the warrior in you. It reveals the fight, the bounce back, the grit. You were never soft. You were just waiting for a battle worthy of your fire. And this setback right here is not just setting you up for a comeback. It's setting you up for a legacy. Because when you rise, you won't just rise for you. You'll rise for every soul watching you. Every person who lost hope and thought maybe they couldn't recover either. Your comeback will be their reminder that it's possible. Don't let the pain of the fall make you forget the power of the rise. You've been through some things that nobody knows about. You've cried tears behind closed doors, forced smiles through silent battles, kept going when your world was shaking, and still here you are. Still breathing, still trying, still holding on. That alone is proof that the story isn't over. Sometimes life will strip everything you thought you needed, not to punish you, but to realign you, to pull you away from what was distracting you, from who you meant to be. You may have lost a job, a person, an opportunity, but you didn't lose your calling. You didn't lose your fight. And that fight inside you is enough to build again. Different, this time wiser, stronger, more grounded. The setback pushed you, yes, but it also positioned you, because what's coming next isn't a return to where you were. It's a step into something greater than you imagined. That comeback you're walking toward, it's going to silence every doubt, every fear, every whisper that told you to quit. You've got to understand the setback isn't a sign of weakness. It's evidence that you were brave enough to try. It means you stepped out, you reached for more, and yeah, maybe you fell, but falling isn't failure, staying down is. And you're not built to stay down. You've got too much in you to give up here. Take a breath, wipe the tears, shake off the shame, and start again. Don't wait until the fear disappears. Move through it. Don't wait until the path is clear. Walk anyway. Every step you take in faith is building your comeback, even if it's shaky, even if it's slow. Every day you refuse to quit, you're one step closer to your return. You won't come back the same. You'll come back wiser, bolder, deeper. The pain rewrote your vision. The loss sharpened your focus. And the fire you walk through refines you. The comeback isn't just restoration, it's transformation. When you've been knocked down enough times, you stop looking for perfect plans and start trusting powerful purpose. You realize life won't always go the way you thought. But that doesn't mean it's going wrong. It might just mean it's going deeper. This moment you're in, it's not a dead end. It's a turning point. You don't need a map. You need faith. You don't need guarantees. You need grit. Because the comeback doesn't require certainty. It only requires belief. Belief that what's ahead of you is worth fighting for. Belief that the pain you've endured will birth something meaningful. And belief that even now, even after the loss, even after the letdown, your purpose still stands. You're not disqualified. You're not forgotten. You're not too late. In fact, this could be the exact setup your soul needed. The ground is shifting beneath you, yes, but it's not breaking you. It's building you, and what's being built is not just a return, it's a resurrection. One day you're going to tell the story of how you made it through this, of how you turned your lowest point into your launching pad, and people will listen, not because your life was perfect, but because your fight was real. Because your scars speak, your tears speak, your survival speaks. This isn't just about overcoming, it's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't run from the dark but lights it up, who doesn't wait for strength but walks in it, even while trembling. That's who you're becoming, and your comeback is going to carry that energy. The kind that shakes rooms, the kind that makes people believe again, believe that no matter how far they've fallen, there's still a way forward, that no matter how deep the setback, there's still purpose to be found. You're living proof of that, and when you rise, you're not just rising for your own life, you're rising to lift others. Your comeback is a calling, so rise with fire. Let me remind you, broken doesn't mean beaten. Delayed doesn't mean denied. This moment, this hard, confusing, painful moment is part of the setup. You might not see it now, but everything is aligning behind the scenes. The people you'll meet, the strength you'll walk in, the clarity you'll gain, all of it is being prepared in the silence of your setback. Don't rush this process. There's gold being refined in you. You may feel forgotten, but you are being forged. Every time you choose hope, you're building a foundation. Every time you keep going when quitting seems easier, you're writing the next line of your comeback. So stop asking if you're behind. Stop questioning if you messed up too badly. If you woke up today, you're not too far gone. You're still in the fight. And the very setback that's weighing you down right now, it'll be the reason you rise with more power than you've ever known. The enemy wants you to believe that this is your end. But God is whispering, this is just the beginning. You may not feel strong, you may not feel ready, but strength isn't a feeling, it's a decision. And you've already made it. You chose to stay, you chose to breathe, you chose to believe, even if just a little. That little spark, that's where the fire begins. Let it grow. Let it remind you who you are. You've been through too much to break now. You've sacrificed too much to stay stuck. You've come too far to turn back. Your step back was loud, but your comeback is going to roar, so walk boldly, walk fully. Walk as someone who knows the valley didn't take you out, it took you deeper. And from that depth you rise, not perfect, not polished, but full of purpose. And that right there is power. There comes a moment in your life where you look around and realize the people you've been holding on to are not holding you back because they're strong. They're holding you back because you're afraid to let go. You're afraid of being alone, afraid that maybe, just maybe, you won't find someone better. But let me tell you something straight from the soul. Loving yourself means learning to walk away from what's no longer growing you. It means honoring your peace more than their presence. You cannot heal in the same environment that broke you. You can't grow in the same soil that tried to bury you. The wrong people will drain you, confuse you, use you, and call it love. They'll make you question your worth, dim your light, and manipulate your loyalty, and yet we stay, hoping they'll change, thinking we're the problem. But you're not the problem, my friend. You're the solution waiting to happen. When you finally love yourself enough to choose peace over pressure, solitude over fake connection, and growth over comfort, That's when the right ones find you, because they're not intimidated by your worth, they're drawn to it. But it starts with you. Sometimes we confuse attachment with connection. We hold on to people who've already let go of us. Emotionally, spiritually, we ignore red flags and repaint them with hope, convincing ourselves that love is supposed to feel like suffering. But that's not love. That's fear disguised as loyalty. That's insecurity whispering, you need them to be whole. You've just forgotten. And the wrong people will capitalize on your forgetting, because the more you doubt yourself, the easier you are to control. But the moment you decide that your peace is not negotiable, something powerful happens. The masks fall off. The noise gets quiet. You begin to see people for who they really are, not who you were begging them to be. And it hurts. It hurts to realize some of the people you love the most are not meant to stay. But here's the truth. Not everyone you lose is a loss. Some are lessons, some are distractions, some were never meant to be part of the next chapter. So let go. Not in bitterness, not in hate, but in love for yourself. Because what's waiting for you is worth more than what's weighing you down. Letting go isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's not about giving up on people. It's about choosing not to give up on yourself. You've given chances. You've stayed up praying for people to change. You've bent until your back broke, hoping they'd finally see your worth. But they didn't, and that's not on you. That's on them. The truth is, the right people won't need to be convinced. They'll recognize your value from the start. You won't have to shrink to fit their comfort. You won't have to beg to be seen, because real love doesn't demand that you betray yourself to keep it. Real love meets you where you are and lifts you higher. And when you start loving yourself like that, when you start standing in that truth, your energy changes. You stop chasing, you stop explaining, you stop tolerating the bare minimum, and the ones who can't handle that, they fall away. That's not rejection, that's divine protection. That's space being made. That's the clearing before the blessing. You're not too much. You're just finally too real to be ignored. Keep going. The right people, the ones with depth, honor, and vision, they'll find you. They always do. There's a loneliness that comes when you first start choosing yourself. It feels cold at first, like you've walked away from the only fire that ever kept you warm, even if it burned you. But I promise you that silence, that space, that emptiness is sacred. It's the ground where your real self begins to emerge. It's where your healing starts. You'll hear your own thoughts again. You'll feel your heart again. And yes, it might ache, but that ache is honest. It's not from holding on too tight. It's from finally letting go. That takes courage. That takes strength. You're no longer settling for almost love, half support, and conditional loyalty. You're done entertaining confusion. You're done second-guessing your worth. Because now you know if they wanted to grow with you, they would have. If they valued your presence, they'd have shown it. And if they had the capacity to love you fully, they wouldn't have made you question yourself so often. So breathe. Let the silence hold you. Let the stillness teach you. The loneliness you feel now will be the foundation of the community you build later, one rooted in truth, not convenience. Sometimes the hardest thing you'll ever do is walk away from what you wanted most. Not because it didn't matter, not because it didn't feel real, but because deep down you know you deserve more. You deserve consistency, not confusion. You deserve to be chosen, not tolerated. And the longer you hold on to people who don't honor your heart, the longer you delay the ones who will. It's okay to grieve what could have been. It's okay to cry over the loss of potential. But don't stay stuck in that sadness. Let it move through you. Let it teach you, and then let it go. You didn't lose love. You lost what was blocking it. You didn't lose your future. You cleared the path to one that's aligned. When you stop chasing the wrong people, you give the right ones a chance to catch up to the real you, the healed you, the one who knows what they bring to the table. You're not hard to love, you're just finally refusing to settle for fragments when your soul was designed for fullness. Healing isn't loud. It doesn't scream in public or post about revenge. Healing happens quietly, in your car, wiping tears away before walking into work, on your pillow, wrestling between anger and acceptance. In your journal, writing out all the words you were never brave enough to say out loud. It's lonely, it's raw, it's real. But healing is also beautiful because it returns you to yourself. And the deeper you heal, the more your standards shift. You stop being available for people who play with your time, your energy, your heart. You start speaking up. You start saying no, not to punish others, but to protect your peace. And guess what happens? The wrong ones get uncomfortable. They call you selfish, too cold, too distant. That's okay. Let them call it whatever they want, because healing is not about pleasing them. It's about honoring you. It's about choosing growth over guilt. It's about believing you deserve more than bare minimum love. And when you love yourself like that, the right ones will recognize it. They'll show up ready because they've done the work too, and together you'll build something real. The right people won't run from your wounds. They won't fear your fire. They won't shrink from your strength. They'll see your scars and still stay. They'll hear your truth and still listen. And the most powerful thing about the right people, you won't have to earn them. You won't have to chase, beg, or convince. They'll show up, not perfect, but present. Not flawless, but faithful. They'll make space for your soul, not just your smile. They'll celebrate your growth without feeling threatened. They'll challenge you without making you feel small. And most importantly, they'll add to your peace, not subtract from it. But you can't receive that kind of connection if you're still clinging to what broke you. You've got to clear the space. You've got to say no to the wrong people with such conviction that the right ones have room to say yes. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Because the day you finally experience what real, healthy, mutual love feels like, you'll wonder why you ever settled for less. You'll look back one day and realize that letting go was the kindest thing you ever did for yourself. Not because it didn't hurt, not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. You weren't meant to live in emotional survival mode. You weren't born to constantly prove your worth. You were created to love and be loved in truth. And truth can't grow where pretense lives. So you stopped explaining. You stopped waiting. You stopped hoping they'd become someone they kept showing you they weren't. You chose yourself. And in doing so, you set a new standard, not just for how others treat you, but for how you treat yourself. No more begging for love, no more bending just to be accepted. You've earned your peace. You've bled for your healing, and now you walk with a different kind of power. Not loud, but certain. Not arrogant, but unshakable. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you're getting stronger with every step. And one day that strength is going to carry someone else. Someone who needed to see what persistence looks like. Someone who needed proof that slow doesn't mean stuck. You're not just changing your life, you're setting an example. You're building a story, so don't downplay your progress. Every small victory counts. Every little win matters. Whether it's waking up early, staying committed, saying no to distractions, or simply breathing through the pressure, it all counts. You're building momentum, you're building habits, you're building resilience, and none of it is wasted. The smallest step forward beats the biggest step never taken. So take your step, then take another. You're not behind, you're just in motion, and that motion has power. There will be days when your progress looks like rest. Don't confuse that with failure. Rest is part of the process. Healing is part of the journey. Reflection, stillness, recovery, they matter just as much as action. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't build a future on burnout. So give yourself grace. Give yourself room to breathe. Growth isn't always about doing more. Sometimes it's about letting go of what's draining you, about realigning, about listening to your soul and honoring what it needs. So if today you needed to pause, that's okay. You're still moving forward because even in rest, your intentions are alive. Even in stillness, your purpose is unfolding. You don't need to hustle constantly to be worthy. Your value isn't tied to your productivity. It's tied to your heart, your effort, your integrity. So show up honestly, fully, authentically. And if that means today is a slow day, a quiet day, a healing day, then so be it. You're not losing momentum. You're storing it. You're getting ready because tomorrow you rise again, fueled, focused. For there's no shortcut to becoming who you're meant to be, no fast lane to purpose, no magic formula to destiny. It's the daily decision to choose growth, to keep showing up, to believe that small, faithful effort compounded over time will lead you somewhere meaningful. And it will. You don't have to move mountains every day. You just have to refuse to stop climbing, even if your hands are tired, even if your legs are shaking, even if you're unsure of the summit. Keep climbing, because progress isn't about speed. It's about direction. And you are moving in the right one. Your small step today might feel ordinary, but it's not. It's a declaration, a statement to the world and to yourself. I'm still in this, and that matters. It's not about how big the step is. It's about the fact that it's forward. You're growing, you're evolving, you're creating a future from your daily choices, and that's more powerful than any overnight transformation. So trust your pace, trust your path, trust that even the smallest step taken with intention carries the weight of transformation. You don't need everyone to understand your journey. They're not supposed to. This is your process, your battle, your becoming. People may not see the value in your small steps, but that doesn't mean they aren't powerful. Some breakthroughs don't make noise, they just make impact. Quietly, steadily, faithfully. So don't get discouraged if nobody's clapping. Don't quit just because the crowd is silent. Your progress is not performance, it's purpose. And your job is not to impress, it's to evolve, step by step, inch. You're doing something that most people aren't willing to do. You're choosing discipline when it's not convenient. You're choosing vision when the outcome isn't guaranteed. That's courage. That's faith. And one day those who doubted you will see what patience built. Not because you proved them wrong, but because you proved yourself right. So keep moving, even if it's slow, even if it's small, even if you have to crawl. Forward is forward, and forward is everything. Remember this. Progress doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be poetic. It just has to be real. Your tears, your setbacks, your shaky starts, they all count, because every time you fall and rise again, you're rewriting your story. You're building something resilient, something no one can take from you. Your habits, your mindset, your growth, these are yours. And every small step you take is a seed planted, a future being born. So stop underestimating your effort. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Take the step as you are, with what you have, from where you stand. Because you're not behind, you're not late, you're not lost. You are in motion, and that motion has meaning. You're learning, adjusting, improving. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not publicly, but purposefully, and that's enough. One day you'll look back and realize that every small step mattered more than you ever knew. They didn't just move you forward, they transformed who you became along the way. And that's real success. Your story has power. I need you to hear that deep in your bones. Not just the highlight reel, not just the polished parts. I mean the messy moments, the heartbreaks, the mistakes, the nights you didn't think you'd make it. All of it. That story carries weight. It's not just a memory, it's a message, because somebody, somewhere, is going through what you've already overcome. They're standing where you once stood, feeling what you once felt, lost, broken, forgotten. And while you're sitting there thinking your voice doesn't matter, they're out there praying for someone like you to speak, to show up, to say, I've been there and I made it out. So no, you don't have to be perfect, you just have to be real. Don't hide the scars, honor them. Don't silence your struggle, share it, because when you do, you give someone else the blueprint to rise. Your story is not a shameful secret. It's someone else's survival guide. And if you keep it locked away, the world misses out on the healing you were meant to give. So speak up, stand tall, tell your story, not for applause, but for impact. You think your story is too small, too ordinary? Let me tell you something. What seems ordinary to you might be revolutionary to someone else. Maybe you didn't conquer the world, but you conquered yourself. You broke cycles, you survived pain that could have crushed you, you faced battles no one saw, and you kept moving forward anyway. That counts, that matters. You're not here by accident. The things you've lived through, the lessons you've learned, they're not random. The preparation you've been equipped with, wisdom, perspective, and strength, that the next person desperately needs. Don't dismiss it. Don't downplay it. Your words can light a path. Your journey can open a door. You have no idea how much your truth might set someone else free. And I know it's scary to be vulnerable. It's hard to expose wounds. But those wounds, once healed, become the most powerful part of your testimony. You didn't walk through fire for nothing. You walked through it so you could come back and lead others out. That's what makes you powerful, not the titles, not the image, but your truth. So own it, share it. Somebody's breakthrough is waiting on your boldness. There are people in this world who are drowning in silence, drowning in shame. And what they need more than anything is to know they're not alone, that somebody else felt that pain, lived that chaos, and came out stronger. That's why your story is so critical, because it doesn't just say, look at what I did. It says, you can do this too. It says, you're not crazy, you're not weak, you're human. And we need more of that in this world. We don't need more masks. We don't need more filters. We need truth. Raw, honest, healing truth. The kind that says, I've struggled, I've failed, I've doubted, but I didn't give up. That kind of truth creates connection. It bridges the gap between people. It pulls others out of isolation and into hope. So if you're sitting on your story, hiding it because it's not pretty enough or polished enough, I'm here to tell you it's real enough. And real is what changes lives. Somebody's waiting for the words only you can speak, the light only you can shine. So don't let fear steal that from the world. Your voice is needed, your experience is needed, you are needed. You don't have to be a speaker, you don't have to be on a stage, you just have to be willing. Willing to speak life, willing to sit with someone in the dark and say, I've been in the dark too. Willing to share the parts of your journey that weren't glamorous, but were transformational. Because the most powerful stories aren't told by celebrities or influencers. They're told by everyday people who chose to turn their pain into purpose, who chose to rise when they had every reason to stay down. That's what makes a story powerful, not the drama, but the decision.